Dr. Muhibul Haqa. So we were discussing before the commercial break that the self-employment amongst South Asians is highest than other ethnic groups, all other ethnic groups basically percentage-wise, and this is highest in London, followed by West Midland, which is Birmingham area, and then West Yorkshire. Let me also tell you that within West Yorkshire, the self-employment amongst identifiable ethnic groups within West Yorkshire, the highest is in Bradford, right? This is where you can see there in Bradford, basically, there are a lot of Pakistanis and Indians. So, which is a staggering figure actually, 26.38% in Bradford, and followed by Kirklees, which is where we are, Huddersfield area, Huddersfield, Dewsbury. This is 16.94%, and in Leeds it's 8.51%. Right. So let's jump on to our findings. What we found in our research. What is compassionate customer service? Right. So a compassionate customer service is generally a type of customer service that we analyzed our qualitative data, and we think basically we identified two major themes. So in a compassionate customer service, what happens generally, the service provider, the person in this case it can be you as a manager or as a business owner. So the service provider puts himself or herself things basically in their thinking process. They put themselves in the customer's shoes and then provide services accordingly, which means actually a lot of things, which means that they need to have the right knowledge about their products. They need to have the right knowledge about the customer. May not be a particular individual as such, but the cultural sensitivities, where this person comes from, what is allowed, what is not allowed, what is normally, frequently practiced, what is acceptable in that person's, the customer's cultural context. So this person visualizes themselves and puts themselves into their customer's shoes and then deals with the customer accordingly. As I said, it can include knowledge. It can also include that they can have an understanding that how much this customer is willing to spend, or how much this customer has a capacity to spend on a particular product. So that means basically all of that. So within our research, within our analysis, we found two themes which stood out. Number one is relationship building induced by pragmatism, right? So what that means is these participants of ours provided a customer service to their customers where they keep the long-term objective of their business in mind, and they provide a customer service in a way that they might actually take a loss for the time being. They might sell the product quite cheap, for example, or they might spend a number of hours just serving one customer, and at the end of these hours, the customer actually might not buying anything from this customer. So they would say they don't mind. One of our participants actually said, I spent 4 hours serving serving one customer, and after these 4 hours, I was not sure. Our participant said that this customer might not buy anything, but apparently this customer ended up buying a lot of stuff. So our participants was happy on that occasion. Another participant said that I'm here to provide a friendly customer service to our customers. It doesn't matter they buy anything or they don't buy anything. Well, an important aspect of this that we need to understand is I will give you an example that I went to, it was 2 days ago actually, I went to a shop in Bradford city center. Not an ethnic minority shop, but a mainstream big shop. So I will not name the shop because it is ethically not right. So I went into the shop and I wanted to buy a particular product. And this particular product actually was first aid kit refills, because I have this title with my name doctor. So it happens that most of the times whenever I go, if there is a medical requirement and if people know there's a title called doctor with my name, and they approach me, they think I'm a medical doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor. I did a PhD in business management, but luckily I have done an extensive course of first aid, so I can provide first aid easily. So I keep a first aid kit with me always. Also, I do a lot of cycling. For example, this last Saturday, I did 61 miles and it was 5 hours I cycled, of course, with some breaks. So I keep that kit with me, and I have injured myself quite a few times, small injuries. So I keep the first aid kit with me. So I needed first aid kit refills. So I went into this shop and I was in rush. So I did not want to go through all the shop and find the stuff. So I asked one customer service assistant the first aid refill. And he said, sorry, mate, we don't sell this. I knew the sell, definitely, because a friend of mine told me, go to this shop. And I looked around, I couldn't find them. And then I asked another person working there, and this person said the same thing. We don't sell any first aid or first aid stuff. I asked a third person, and finally, I found it myself. Then I told one of them, you guys do sell, here it is. And he said, oh, sorry, mate, I was not aware of that. In an ethnic minority shop, this does not happen, right? They know their product very well, and they know their customer very well. Another example is when you go to a supermarket, most of the times, but not every time, of course, if you ask something, they will tell you, oh, it's over there. And if you ask, let's say you ask, where can I find the baked beans? They will say, it's over there. Or they might say, go to aisle number 16. But in an ethnic minority shop, they may be small, but even if they are very busy, they may not be very small as in the size of the shop. They will not, mostly, they will not tell you just to go over there. They will take you there. They will say, just come with me, and they will show you, here we keep this stuff. You have a look, and whenever you want to buy. The other major theme that we found is relationship building induced by long-term strategic goals. So the first one is pragmatism. They're very pragmatic, they're very committed, and they persevere when they have difficulties. They don't mind giving a good discount to their customers. And the other one is they keep this long-term goal in mind, and they might take a loss for the time being, but they want to develop a relationship with the customer so that the customer will not go anywhere else when this customer needs anything which you can sell in your shop. They will be always coming to you, and in future they don't mind even if you charge a little bit more, but that's generally they do not do it. So that's what it means, compassionate customer service. Now, what are the implications of compassionate customer service for practice, for people who practice, for people who are managers and business owners in this type of sector? The implications are, I will read again. So while coethnic communities provide a safety network, right, for their communities, for their family, for economic minority micro businesses, non-European and non-British-born ethnic minorities in the UK are decreasing because of tighter immigration controls. Okay, so this is really important. So ethnic minorities provide a safety network for their communities and their families, but their size at the same time is decreasing. So which is actually a concern. Earlier on, we said ethnic minority businesses, like other types of businesses, are considered engines for growth. They contribute significantly to the economy. But at the same time, this ethnicity is actually decreasing in a way because of the immigration controls. The government is making it harder and harder for people to bring their relatives over. Let's say they get married to another person from the country. They want to bring their husband or wife over, and it is becoming increasingly difficult. There is a connection to this, which I will come back to you in a minute. So the implications for future research is because we have focused in West Yorkshire only, and other researchers, including ourselves in future, hopefully, we will try the same idea in other areas, maybe in the West Midlands, in London, in Scotland, Glasgow, or in other cities like Manchester, and see what happens over there. The reason we need to do more research is in our findings, we found that there is this concept of the other, right? So we found some interesting variations within our data. So an important variation is one of our participants. She was probably over 60 years old. She was not born and raised in the UK. She was born and raised in another country, but she has an Indian subcontinent ethnic origin. So she, of course, came over to this country later on in her life, and she has been running a successful business for many, many years. So what she says is, I'm paraphrasing her words, of course, that the young generation has no tolerance, right? The young generation has no tolerance toward customers, and then she says the young generation does not tolerate anybody anyway, okay? So when you are providing a compassionate type of customer service, you need to be very, very passionate. You have to have a lot of patience. Like another participant said, I spent 4 hours serving a particular customer as I was not sure whether this customer will end up buying anything or not. So you need to have a lot of patience. So this lady says the young generation has no patience. She also says the young generation has does not have patience toward customers only, but they don't have patience towards anything in general. So there is this generational disconnect within the South Asian ethnic minority community in West Yorkshire area. This may be applicable to other communities in other areas, but of course our focus is here. So what it has actually important implications for ethnic minority businesses, because somebody has to take over the business if the business has to continue, because the owner of the business, the mother, father, older siblings, will retire. Eventually, they will not be there to run the business, because we all have this physical. Of course, with the passage of time, we get older, we become weaker, and people die. So the young generation has to take over and run the business successfully. If it is true that the young generation is not patient, they do not have patience, so what that means is this type of compassionate customer service will not be available to customers. It will be like any other shop. Where is the baked beans? Over there, or in aisle number 16. I'm not saying this is, it's a wrong attitude. I'm not saying that, but it's basically another type of customer service, which we will not call compassionate customer service. So, which has, of course, important implications. So, which means the business owners and the business managers need to think about developing the training, preparing the next generation to take over and become successful entrepreneurs. The government policymakers also need to think about how they can train and how they can develop the next generation to remain successful businesses, and for the business themselves to remain successful, so that the whole economy can grow and these businesses can continue playing the role of engines of economy. Otherwise, as we mentioned, these businesses, the micro businesses especially in general, contribute 33% employment and 22% private sector turnover. If these businesses fail, the whole country will suffer. Therefore, policymakers need to think about this and make policies which are friendly to these businesses. In the same way, business owners and managers also need to think about developing the next generation. Just one example of our implications. I think with this, my time has come to an end for now. I would like to say goodbye to all of my listeners from me and the team at Sangam Radio in Huddersfield. Goodbye for now, and hopefully we'll see you through radio, of course, at the same time, same day next week. Goodbye.